All right, guys, we're back in Logic Pro. I'm super loving the new Logic Pro flow and the updates. It's just an amazing DAW. It's really amazing. I'm even capturing my FL Studio workflow in Logic Pro. So this is the most fire part. All right, let's go to our browser. We're going to create a Dark Drake beat today. And so firstly, we want to grab the 808 that you guys want. I think I picked number 3. So what we want to do is just grab this and drag it over top of the track area and make sure you go to the optimized, because apparently it looks at the root key and all this different stuff. Now from here you could play it like you would a one shot, so it's tuned, and we could do polyphony 1 or monophonic, which means you're just going to play one note at a time. This prevents overlapping. It just depends on your envelope and how you play your 808s. You could also turn your hold parameters up. I don't think this has a hold, so if you switch this to HDR, then that gives you a hold parameter, and we should be able to pull down the release. Basically, it's truncated, so when you hit the note, you let it go, it stops. Okay, so that's the 808, and let's see what else we got on here. So some other sound selection is the studio strings. Okay, and then I added a little bit of a chorusing and an auto filter. We may or may not use that for this track, but we could. But we're looking for more of a plucked sound. So you usually want to go to your instruments and go to either staccato or spiccato. All right, so that gives you more of that transient bass sound. Okay, so we have the 808. I think this is the same exact one, so we could just delete this one. And then scaler I use to figure out the key. So again, you guys will get the project files, so don't worry about memorizing all this. So first, let's get the drums. Let's right click. Let's go to software. And we're going to load up what's called the Drum Machine Designer. This is like the FPC in FL Studio. Let's go to my go-to sounds for now. I'm just going to use go-to sounds. We could always swap out these sounds. So let's add a hi-hat. Let's add a rim snare, and let's do some kind of kick. Now the kick, debating if I want like an actual kick. I guess we'll do an actual kick for this. Okay, so we have the kick, hi-hat. You could trigger these with your MIDI controller, but again, most people coming from FL, we don't really work that way with drums. So let's go to our kit, and then we're gonna hit this little pencil tool. And let me make sure I'm actually on my kit. Where's the kit? All right, so somehow, all right, let's click on that pencil tool. I must have been on a different thing. Anyhow, go to where it says step sequencer. And here's where we're going to draw our drums. So some kind of things I use are the 32 step. Not sure if you guys can see, but in the top right, I just changed it to 32 step. We're going to change the BPM to 142 for this track. We could always slow it down later. Let's turn the metronome on. And I don't know how this snare just has its own track. I have no idea. All right, so now we're over here. Let's go to our hi-hats. And what you could do is hit Control-Alt to make the note longer. And then you basically hit Command-R to copy and paste. There probably is a faster way, but that's the way I know. Okay, so now we can add in our snare. So it's 1, 2. So let me go back. 1, 2, snare, snare. Okay, so we're putting the snares on the 3 and the 7 count. So this repeats itself, so I'm actually going to cut this in half. That way I know exactly how long the actual pattern is. We can go back to the kick. So I'm going to go boom, ta, boom, boom. Okay, so let's highlight this. And now we can make changes. So let's highlight this drum pattern, hit Command-R. I'm still getting used to the zoom. It zooms very fast. So let's hit Command-R, and basically we can go in here and change something about it. So let's change the hi-hat rolls. Let's click this little drop down. Let's go to where it says repeat, and now we can add note repeats in here. So I want a note repeat on this 3rd zone. Now one more thing I'm going to do is switch the note value here to the offset parameter, and I want to offset the hi-hats by at least 10%, maybe 0 to 10%, because they're too quantized right now. So let's go to the drop down. You have to do this per pattern. So if you have them separated, this is why some people prefer the FL workflow. So let's do maybe 3 or 4%. Even 3% is kind of heavy. Let's just do 2% for now. So we're delaying our hi-hats in time, so it has a little bit more bounce. You could do the same thing with your kicks. Okay, so let's say you want to turn the kicks up. What we can do is click on each pattern here. We're going to find our kick and go to the velocity parameter here. You can click this little drop down thing, go to velocity, and then we could just up the velocity for the entire row of kicks. So let's just turn our kicks all the way up. We could do the same thing with the snare. Let's crank this up a little bit. Let's just crank the snare all the way. And again, we have to do it on each pattern in this case. So you could also just left click and drag. Okay, so now we need the percussion. So let's clone this because I don't want to confuse these two purposes of my drums. So this section, we're going to add some kind of bongo or some kind of open hi-hat, like more percussive stuff. Let's open up our drum kit. And now we got to go find hi-hats and all this type of stuff. So let's go to our bookmarks tab. I have a couple folders bookmarked. Let's go to maybe the Metro Boomin Lunch 77 kit. And let's look for an open hi-hat that works with this track. So let's run it back and just listen to open hi-hats just by arrowing up and down. So I think this one probably works the best. Let's use this one. And then we need some kind of bongo. So I'm going to go to another folder. You guys just got to take a whole day and just search for sounds. Like you just got to search for every type of sound you could think of. Take a day or two and just do it. So I'm going to give you guys the project files for this track so you don't have to do all this, but you guys definitely want to increase your sound library. So whenever you think of sounds, you can just pull them up. I might do a bongo. I might do a conga maybe. Let's try conga. This might be, never mind. Let's do bongo. We're just going to filter the bongo so it's not as bright. Let's do this one, but we're going to filter it. So let's trim this too, because this sample isn't trimmed by default. So we're going to add, the question is, how do we separate this? That's the tricky part. I'm not going to worry about it for now. For now, I'm just going to use it as a bongo, but I'm definitely going to filter the bongo. Just don't know a fast way to do it. Okay, now let's just go in and record. It's probably easier to record your open hi-hats than to try to draw in a step sequence, but I guess you could technically, if you click the pencil tool, go to your new, let's call this percussive layer. Percussion, here's our drums. So now we can go in here, we can go to the step sequencer and figure out where we want the open hi-hat. Again, we need to change the steps to 32. So 1, 2, dun, dun, dun. Okay, let's find where the bongo. Ta, ta. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very simple, but then again, we're going to filter the bongo so it's not super like on the grid and bright. Let's go to the offset this a little bit. Pull this back. We don't want to offset it too much. And let's go to the velocity and just turn this down. Again, we're going to probably add a filter to that. So let's offset this open hi-hat just so it's in the groove a little bit more. So now we got our drums. We pretty much have the whole rhythm established. So now we got to come up with like the vibe. Okay, so this is where you guys got to put on your producer hats. And the key we're going to work in here is B flat minor. So let's pick an instrument here. So what I'm going to do is build around chords. We're probably going to take the chords out, but I want to build around chords because I want to know the canvas of musical notes that we can add here. So I'm going to build around. But we're going to take away the sustain sound. I just want to make sure I have sounds in this kind of vibe. So I'm just going to freestyle this chord progression here. Let's make sure we arm for recording. Let's record some stuff. Again, we're not going to keep this. This is simply for our ear to make better melodies. We need the chords in. That was my finger slipped. All right, so all we need is this note changed here. Let's turn this down. So again, this is just a musical thing to help our ear pick sounds and make a melody without any. The hard part about melodies is when you don't have a harmony, it's very hard to just imagine a melody. So when you have a harmony, your brain can think of melodic notes a lot easier. Okay, now let's go to these instruments. So if you guys struggle with B flat minor, let's map out the scale here. So scale. I don't know how to type in flat on here. Okay, so B minor scale. So here's the notes. So it's C. Those are the notes. So I like Scalar as a reference tool. I think Logic has a new in scale feature, but again, I try to teach people not to focus on scale lock so much because a lot of the vibe that you guys want to create is not is not staying in the scale. You want to use sharp notes. You want to use different things. You don't just want to stay in the scale all the time. So let's start with the 808. All right, let's record this 808. Let's run this back. All right, so the 808 is really, really low. There was one note I want to fix in here. Debating if I want the chord change. So let's hit the notes, hit Control A, hit Q to quantize. Now let's start adding the harmonic texture here. And again, the chords are not going to be in the actual song, so we could actually mute them at this point. Now that we know the key. Now the 808 is pushing a little bit only because we're pushing the kick. So we're trying not to clip right now. But it doesn't really matter though. So I'm going to move the hi-hat, open hi-hat. Let's go in here. Let's double click. So I want to go debating on where I want it to be. Yeah, that sounds a lot better. There we go. Let's hit Command R, copy that. So we're like 1/4 of the way there. We still got to add our atmosphere. Let's add an instrument here. Let's try to find some kind of bells. There's no right or wrong answer here. We're just going to use some. Let's type in alchemy. I think alchemy has a lot of sounds here. Now let's sort bells, and we don't have any specific type. So even this is like right in that Drake pocket. So let's go back. Let's record this. We could just have that, and that could be fine. So let's. Oh, got to hit record. Boom. All right, so you can play up and down the scale. There's no right or wrong way. Now, for people without a MIDI controller, you can mess with the piano roll. If you are going to mess with the piano roll, I recommend you make it full screen and, use the pencil tool here. I think you have to hit the letter. See, look at me pressing the wrong buttons. I think you have to hit Control, click. Okay, so the thing to the right is the control click. The thing to the left is the regular left click. So it is a little bit to get used to. If you guys add a note, the new way to extend this is Shift Alt, and you could extend the note like this. So that's how you do it. Not the exact same thing as FL Studio, but kind of close in a way. All right, so that's just going to be a pad. So now we need more high frequency stuff, like glittery stuff. That's more of a pad, so let's pull that back. Let's open up Alchemy again. Let's look for another bell. And now we're going to go up an octave and add what's called the top line melody. See how we're getting that contrast? Let's run that back. So I don't know how that happened, but let's run this back. My bad, I had the wrong track recording. Okay, so again, there's no we're just going up and down the scale, just playing kind of slow. Let's hit Control A, hit Q. Again, we're going to turn this down. We don't want any one element yet to be the main focus. Drake is the focus, not the bells. Okay, so let's pull this back. One of these notes got offset a little bit. Just got to fix that. This zoom is so fast. Gotta get used to that. One of these notes has to be off. Looks wrong. Maybe it's not. Okay, today's here. Okay, so now let's look for a low mid synth to fill in some of these gaps in the beat. Because right now it's just 808s, super bright bells, and drums. We still need like a filler sound. Again, let's go with Alchemy. These sounds are really good so far. Let's look for, if I had to think what category it'd be in, maybe digital and dark. Let's see what we can find. So I like the sound. Very Drake-ish. Let's just play octaves of B flat for this. We're gonna add chorus to the sound probably. Just so it's a little more detuned. All right, let's run that back. I don't know what button I just pressed. Hold up. Okay, I switched patterns. So let's see what the shortcut is to move notes. I think it's Alt up and down moves them one by one. Let's add some effects to these bells. I'm trying not to overly sound design, but I'm gonna add some like delay so it has like a ping pong effect, and we're gonna add some kind of pitch modulation in here. So just, you guys can copy if you want. So we need a ping pong, so let's add some spread here. Let's do tempo synced. So now we're adding like the creepy vibe to it. That's that delay. And for this other bell, we're gonna add a filter. It's a little too bright. Let's add an EQ. much energy we're taking out of the track just from this one filter. Let's add a low pass there. Also, this bell's a little bright, but let's add some chorus first before we start. All right, so we're just smearing out the sound. I kind of want these bells up one more octave. Let's hit Control A, and let's hit Alt Shift A. It's gonna pitch them up an octave. I don't think Logic Pro has a halftime alternative, but I'm gonna load up a plugin called Halftime. I'm not sure their version of it. It might be called like Beat Slicer. Let me try that first. Actually, let's go to Multi-Effects, go to Beat Breaker. Let's try this. Let's just go through presets. Let's try some pitch shift ones. These are taking them out of key, so let's try some time shift. Maybe that's different. Never mind, that's different. And I just need simple halftime. Where's halftime? Okay, so it's called speed change. There we go. Now I do need a mix level for this plugin. I'm not sure if they have a mix level on here. Oh, here it is right here. Okay. So now we're gonna have the original and the slowed down version. This is basically gonna add another layer of melody over top the bell. Let's just pull back some of the detuning effect, the wobble effect. All right, the drums need to hit a little bit harder. Just turn them up. So because I don't know how to solo out something easily without having to do a bunch of steps, we're just going to duplicate the percussive layer. I'm going to paste this in because what I'm trying to do here is separate that bongo because I want the bongo to be filtered. Okay, so let's go in here. So basically what I'm just going to do is just mute the original bongo. And we're just gonna, on the second half, we're just gonna mute the hi-hat, open hi-hat. This way they're separated, and then I could just add a filter. And not probably the smartest way to go about that, but I just don't feel like doing a bunch of routing in the mixer. So we're adding a low pass filter on that bongo. Okay, so now we can add like little stutters and glitches. So we'll probably do that towards the end here. So we still need like something to feel darker. Let's take this little aquatic sound here. Let's go through different presets. I do like that sound though. It doesn't sound very dark. This could be, yeah, it's very Drake-ish. Keep in mind this plays a chord, so I don't want that chord effect. Let me see if I can turn. I don't know how to turn that off. I'm kind of eyeballing it to try to figure out where the chord is. Let's go to advanced maybe. Gotta figure out what's even triggering the chord. I don't know if there's like a chord feature, or if it's the oscillators themselves. Hard to really tell. I'm not used to this interface, so let's just. I like this, I just don't want the chord. I guess it doesn't matter. It sounds, it's not out of key. Just wish I knew how to take that off though. Let's see if we can just find a different sound. I like that sound though. So again, we're looking for like an atmospheric, dark synth sound. to add behind the track. So a sound like this could work. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Let's just add effects to it. I just realized. Oh wait, never mind. Alright, this sound has like a weird build up afterwards. Let's turn that on. So again, these are all dope sounds. It's just a matter of which one fits this vibe. Let's pull this up an octave. I kind of want to change this bell sound. It's a nice one, but we need a more transient bass bell. Hear like the sound. This might be a better bell. We still need more transients, but it's gonna leave it alone. So here's where I'm gonna add my own vibe, which is more of like some kind of dark synth in here somewhere. Not mandatory for the sound, but my ear wants to hear like a dark synth. So let's switch here to retro synth. Underneath synthesizer, let's go to retro synth. This is one of my favorite plugins in Logic. So I'm just gonna perform and then we'll swap out the sound. Okay, so I know that was like a lot to listen to, but I like to perform the notes first and swap sounds later because it's just easier to go through sounds. So let's start shaping the sound. Let's first give it a filter. Add some resonance. Change out the waveform, make it less harmonic. Make it more of a triangle wave. Let's detune this from the... And now we have more of a Drake vibe. Let's see what this flanger sounds like. It's really hard to hear a flanger when it's not as many harmonics. But it definitely has more of a calming vibe. So now it's really just this bell that we got to figure out. It's going to take off some of these effects, or pull them back, I should say. Let's add a little attitude to the 808. Let's give it a little saturation with the soft clip tool here, because everything's trying to clip right now. Just trying to add harmonics here. So now we got to start leveling because everything can't be loud. So we need to turn these instruments down. Easy way to do it is just hit shift, highlight all the instruments, and grab the channel volume and turn it down. Now we can reorder the importance of sounds here. All right, we don't want the sounds to be too quiet though. add some rhythm to this sound here. See if we could maybe try that beat breaker effect. Mess with some time glitches just to kind of break it up. So I'm just adding little time glitches in here. It's dope how you can just left click and just drag. It's pretty dope. Pitch the hi-hat down. I feel like the hi-hats need to be a little bit lower. There we go. We could probably swap out that snare for something different. See if we can find a different like bongo snare. Need more of a body on the snare. So again, I'm looking for more of a bongo than a snare, more of a percussive element. This would probably work actually. Yeah, there we go. So on the second thing, I wanted to go tat, 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 tat. All right, so let's delete these. I wish there was a faster way to edit these, but all right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, snare, snare, boom, snare. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I gotta loop this. Gotta loop this area here. Boom. Forgot this is the velocity. Let's turn this off. There we go. So it hits harder when it bounces like that with the bongo. Boom, boom. All right, so now we just have more snare activity. And now you guys can add more percussive stuff in here if you want. Let's clone this one more time. Now in this row, we're going to think about like rim samples, stuff to glitch. Let's see what we can even find. Let's see if we can search. I'm not sure how good this search is. So let's search. Because I'm not sure these are indexed. Actually, no, I think my hard drive prevents indexing. So a rim would be a percussive element. So let's just search manually, actually. See if they're labeled. Probably not. Here's some. Stuff like this, like a Beethoven sound. A very wooden type of percussive element. Let's run it back. Let's find some other hi-hats we could kind of glitch in here. See what else we can find. You can probably get away with this sound too. I don't want to do too much to the beat because I want the drums to be basic, but now we can go in here, edit tool, go to step sequencer, go to step sequencer, and let's see what we can do with these hi-hats. So boom, boom, brr. So let's again hit Control Alt to make them longer. And then what you could do is up at the top, we can go to where it says note repeat and just left click. So just little stuff like that. Now it's probably a little too repetitive to have it repeat over and over and over again. So let's switch this to 32 steps and just get rid of the second half over here. I don't know how to clear this. All right, let's clear that. Now let's see let's add a little. That's too many glitches. Let's pull that back. So see how these little glitches in time. Again, we could spend more time on this part specifically, But for now, let's just copy and paste. We don't want to like overkill the vibe. But this is creating the extra movement we need for the beat to feel like it's moving somewhere. Okay, so the beat still needs like a dark vibe, so let's look for ways to make it sound darker. I think it's just the main sound is not dark enough. Adding in more pointy bells. So now I'm just gonna see if these other instruments match. Alright, so we got to figure out a way to shorten this sound here. It's a little too sustained. Maybe let's give it an envelope that does not sustain. Let's give it a decay curvature. That way it doesn't interfere with the 808. There we go. Now we have more room for the 808. So now it's just about like that final vocal and then adding that like surprise sound. This is a small little touch. Probably push it to the background anyway. I think the bell is probably just too reverby. It's just too long. I just need a short bell, not a bunch of effects on it. There we go. We can add our own effect chain here. There we go. Now I'm just going to probably add sounds from my Prophet as that final layer. So that final sound made it. All right, so that's the final touch. All right, so that was that final sound. It just needed that thing. Every song is different. Let's try to get these levels right. So we're super clipping this track. Here I'm creating a summing track or a track stack so that I can add effects to all the instruments all at once. So let's just try different effects. Mainly chorus, chorus, hyper chorus. So me simply truncating the hi-hat sample took out the reverb from the hi-hat, and that small change added more space. These are the little things. Now for this track, this is a track where I would sidechain the kick to the 808. I'm not sure. I guess we would have to send. Let's see if we could do this with Fab Filter. Let me see. Fab Filter, where are you? Fab Filter Pro MB. It may kill the bass. It may not. Let's just try it. So we're going to set up a low compressor here. Let's do external input. We want it on the mid only in the case that this 808 does this side information. And now we need a key input, a sidechain input. So let's select the sidechain input. Let's say we want this on bus. Let's say no. Okay, so we could pick the instrument directly. This is interesting. Let's see which instrument. So we have the, this saves so much time. All right, so we're gonna pick the kick. I think it's this kick. There's 3 kicks, so I gotta label the kick so I know which one is which. That's super dope. That saves a lot of time. Where's our kick? That was this one. Boom. Let's label this kick to sidechain. Okay, because we have 3 copies of the same drums. So let's go back to our 808. Sidechaining is so much easier in Logic Pro. Let's go to instruments and then say kick to sidechain. So now every time the kick hits, it will lower the 808. So we don't have as much clashing anymore. We want a fast attack. That way the kick and the 808 can live. Also, I'm going to try one thing with the 808. Let's try delaying the 808 just a little bit off the grid. All right, so now we fixed the timing of the 808. We just delayed it just a little bit. Has more bounce to it a little bit. speeding up the beat breaker so it has more rhythm. I forgot to turn on our main sound. Let's run this twice through. All right, so that's how you guys can make a dark Drake trap beat right inside of Logic Pro. You guys will get the project files for free. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Peace.